if you are coming up uh, in a development world, there are basically too many things that you need to have. If you're a mechanical, you have a toolbox of sandal, spanners, uh, etc., screwdrivers, and etc. For us developers, you need a text editor or a integrated development environment, right? An IDE. All right. So we do have a lot of IDE out there. We have VS Codes, we have WebStorm, we have IntelliJ, we have Z, we have Atom, we have Sublime Text, we have Notepad, we have Vim, we have a lot of tools, right? So these tools that are out there do different work depending on what you want to use it. For example, you 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 could use Android Studio for developing Android application, right? You could use Xcode to develop iOS application. So if you use an iPhone, those applications are developed on Xcode, right? So Xcode execute Swift. Android Studio does execute Java and Flutter, right? So this is how these companies they've mobilized and they've prepared the tools. Okay, so each and every developer. So you know the roadmap. So what's your roadmap? I want to become a full stack developer. So you need to find, I think, something that is flexible and lightweight. All right. So you need to look for a tool. So what tools do we need? For example, we said we are going to be using Visual Studio Code, right? So a VS Code, commonly known as VS Code, is simply a text editor where you could write any programming language with, right? VS Code learns anything. It could learn Android, it could learn Swift, it could learn Python, it could learn HTML, it could learn JavaScript. Any programming language is supported in VS Code. So that's why every developer out there, they don't look for anything else other than VS Code because it's easy to use, it's free, you don't need to pay for anything. And if you want some advanced feature, then you could go for enterprise one, which few people pay for it because everyone uses free things. And also, since you're talking about tools, you also need Git. All right, because you cannot call yourself a developer or you build softwares without having Git. All right, so we are only going to call ourselves a developer if we are able to contribute, because whatever we are using VS Code, it was made to be open source so that developers, you and me, who are aspiring to become developers and start contributing to the ecosystem, should not have challenges. All right, that's why these tools that we have, we can use them for free. We don't need to pay for anything, unless at a certain level when you begin to make choices and preferences, then you could say, okay, I want to pay for this. But at this level, whatever we need could be accessed for free. All right, so VS Code is simply a text editor by Microsoft, which you can use to write any code in any programming language. You could build any system, even games, you could use VS Code. Just get some extension, plug them there, and then begin to build that game. But of course, uh, you put, if at all you need something, you need to put what you want. It doesn't come with everything installed. So whenever something is needed, you have to put, okay, if you need anything, you have to put what you're looking for. Alright, so it doesn't come with a pre-installed plugin or extensions. You have to put them. I think maybe that's one disadvantage I probably have seen about VS Code, but other things are all good, right? So after you can download the VS Code from Microsoft.com. You could go to internet, search for VS Code to show visual.microsoft.com. Go there, you could download for free for any operating system. Once you have it, now you need to set it up, right? So before you start writing the codes, you need to set your tools. Same thing, when you go to, before going to the field, you would look at your axe. Is your axe sharp or your machete sharp, right? Then you say, this axe or this hoe is not sharp. Then you do get a grinder or a file and then try to make it sharp, right? So same thing, as a developer, you need to make your tools as per your need. All right, so when you install VS Code for the first time, you need to install some extension. Now this is why do we need the extension? Extension will help us to have a smooth and good experience of alongside our development. All right, for example, why should you install GitHub Copilot? Because it will help you to debug if you have an issue, to say, okay, you have an issue there, I can help you fix. That's not how we write something. We can write something like this. All right, so now you're making a preference on how you want your tool to look like. So you install extension. One of the extension you could install is, for example, you want to be testing your APIs, right? Or any endpoints. Yeah, so you could install maybe Postman in your VS Code, or you could install a Thunder client. There are a lot of extensions that you could install. You want to change the theme of your VS Code as per your need. You could install a plugin extension. Then after that, activate it, and then you're able to choose the theme as per your need. All right. So all these preferences are made per user. So maybe some people don't use dark theme like the one you're using. They are using light theme. So it's because of that's what they want to have their VS Code to look like. Secondly, now you need to know how to navigate within VS Code. So VS Code is like, when you open VS Code, it has everything there. So you don't need to have maybe open your terminal elsewhere or your command prompt elsewhere. VS Code itself has the terminal. VS Code itself has Git bash. VS Code itself has live server or live preview. VS Code itself has GitHub. VS Code itself has even chat. You could chat from there. If let's say we want to collaborate on this or the work that you are doing, we could collaborate, right? I just need to invite you. I join, and then we collaborate. So VS Code is very powerful, but all these functionalities that VS Code has, they come and they work perfect after you install extension. All right. So if you want to collaborate with me, you need to go to extension and install live share. All right. So if you work in a team or you collaborate with someone, what you have to do is, you, instead of using Google Meet again or what, you can just say, bro, you know what, let's just use live share, so that I will know when you're coding, you also know what I'm working on. You could just divide components. I'll be working from the bottom, you will be working from the top, right? And you could see in real time that I'm coding and you're also coding. So VS Code becomes uh, best with extensions, right? So the more you install extension that you want to do specific work, the better experience you're going to have as you use VS Code alongside. Alright. So VS Code also has some shortcuts. Every developer for them to be fast, 10x fast, is because of they need to know some sort of shortcuts, right? Even you, when you get comfortable with this, you will know some shortcuts, and then that will make you even faster as you will be building whatever website or system that you'll be working on. You find that it will be very easy for you to execute all these commands, right? So now, where what happens in VS Code? I would just ask you to open. You see in your welcome screen there is a recent file that you've accessed. In your welcome screen, can you see the recent file? Recent? Yes. No. In VS Code. In VS Code.
Oh, in VS Code.
Yes. Can you click the one web?
The what?
One. Yes.
One.
Yes. Because I want to clearly, if you say something, I ask you to say, can you do that and see how it is looking? Alright, so it's saying choose the theme. Probably the first one, there's dark, light, dark high contrast, and light high contrast. So every developer you go for dark theme, which is which is okay. Everyone go for that one. Yes, so scroll down. Yeah. Yeah, you could just close that. It's not a bit. Yeah, you scroll down again, then mark done. Yes, like that. All right. So now, um, so after you know how to navigate, you know how to install extension. Extension, you would see something like from the top of your screen, the fifth icon to your left sidebar. That's your extension icon. So if you want to install anything that you want or that you feel like you could have, just know that to your left sidebar, okay, left sidebar, there is one first icon is called Explorer. The second one is called Search. The third is called Source Control. Fourth is called Debugger. You know how to use Debugger once we start debugging something. And the fifth is called Extension. Alright. So where you are on the first icon is called Explorer. The second one is Search. Third is Source Control, which keeps tracks of your GitHub and everything, how your files are changing. Then the fourth is a debugger. If there's any error in your code, you could use that debugger to debug it and tell you where the problem is. And then the fifth, that's the one, if you want to install any extension, you need to go to. So if you try to go to the fifth icon, left sidebar, fifth icon.
The three icon.
Yes.
This one's
No, to your left side, your left sidebar. Left sidebar. Your left? Yes, that's your left. Yes. Now the fifth one. Yes, the fifth one.
The fifth.
From top. Yes, that one. So when you click that one, that's the one you will use over time whenever you are in need to install any extension. All right. Any extension. For example, what would you think of installing? Maybe live share. Search for live share if you want to collaborate with say, any other developer. You would say, okay, or sometimes just found this on the internet. People were bragging about it. Then someone said, yeah, we could use live share by Microsoft. You see, there is one by Microsoft, live share.
Okay, this one, you can see it.
Yes. Click on the same one. That one was 17 million downloads. So what can this do? So you can read the summary there. Says Visual Studio Live Share enables you to collaboratively edit and debug with others in real time. Okay, regarding what programming language you are using or app type you are building, it allows you to instantly and secure share your current project, and then as needed share debug session, terminal and instances. So that's a very valuable tools, all right? Because if you're a developer, you don't do everything alone. So we are here together. It's not only that we are learning this and to be this is the end. Tomorrow when I feel like I need some help from you or to do something together, I'll easily say, can we join on the call? Let me share you, invite you on the live share so that we debug something together. So then we need to use one of these tools. All right. So we could use live share for collaboration. I'll share my terminal, and then I'll share the file. Then you have access to the repositories, and we can begin to work on the project together.
Okay.
Now, what happened now? Is there any question about the extension? What is it
No,
used for?
sorry?
I'm saying, is there any question about extension? What is it used for?
The extension of edits.
Okay. So let's go to the second icon, which is a search. Yes, that one. Yes, search. Now, you may have a big file, right? So, for example, can you open hello.html? There's that file. Yes. Click. All right. So, you see, can you go to the search and type something like bright? Right. So, and then below that, are you able to see something like replace?
Below, yes, I can see it.
Can
Yes.
you type my name? Mark. And then to the right of that same workspace, go to the right after AB. After AB with the same search. Yes, click there. Click. Then replace. Are you seeing what has happened?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've seen this.
The name was changed where on line 10 there was bright, is now Mark. So these things are common. You may be, for example, when you're building something, instances that you use the templates content, right? Demo content, right? So when you use demo content, after you realize that you need to use the actual content, then that's how you could capitalize by using the search, because you could easily put something and then like that go to the search for what you are looking for, please confirm that that's what you're looking for, and then replace. Okay, regardless of how big is the file, you could replace that file with one click.
Okay.
All right. So that's how the search tool works in VS Code. It's not, no matter how, that's how the search should be used. That's the most effective way a search should be used. Search for something on top. If you want to replace, you can replace. If you don't want to replace, just what you're just looking at it, and maybe there's a part where you want to specific make some changes. You could once you search, then you go to that part and begin to fix those changes. All right, so that's how effective the search in VS Code works. So now let's go to the third icon, which is source control. The third icon from the top, the third icon.
From the top, the third.
Yes, one, no, 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 the same sidebar. We are still on the sidebar. One, two, three. Yes, that one. Source control. So what does that guy do? What does it do? Why is it there? Now, when you know your tools, just like the way a hunter know how to use the gun, right? And if they know how to use the gun, they know how to hunt very well, right? Same thing. If you are a driver, you must know how to drive cars very well, right? And fast. You can't call yourself a driver when you don't drive a car properly. No, then you're not a driver. A driver must be able to drive the car perfectly, right? So, same thing here. So, when you know how to use VS Code, life becomes very easy. I'll give an example. So, for example, source control. Source control specifically is meant for GitHub. All right. So, any change, remember, any change you make in a repository, meaning a project from GitHub, which you have in your local laptop, will be tracked. All those changes will be shown to say, hey, Bright, you've made 5 changes into 10 files, right? And that source control will be showing you. Okay. So the source control, its main duty is to keep you alive of saying, you know what, you've made changes into this file. Yeah, you've made the changes into this file and you need to push the files. All right. So that's why when you change anything, maybe find another file and change something, you see the numbers there will be changing from 1 to be 2. You change 20 files to show 20 there. All right. If you put 50,
Wow. Oh, this number that's showing here.
yes, it increases after you edit another file
Okay.
because it's keeping track and it's reminding you to say this is how much you've changed in a file. So that primarily is only used for GitHub. Whenever you if you don't want to type commands in the terminal, you could use that to push anything on GitHub, right?
Okay.
Now that file, that icon has so much thing that goes around there. So you see there where it says message. Where it says message, that's where you need to type your message. After you make a change in a file, and then you want to stage them, meaning you want to prepare them to push them to GitHub, because before you push them, you have to stage them. You need to write a message. Now, why are you putting the message? This message is what I'm going to see. Because if you, Mr. Bright, um, you don't put a message, you remember you are in a journey of becoming a developer and you're not going to be working alone. Okay? no matter no matter how, Mr. Bright, you could say, I want to be working alone. At some point, you call me to say, you know what, Mark, I have some work that I want to do with you. Okay? Maybe I'm busy. I don't have enough time to do this. Maybe I know, maybe you may have some time and we could fix this part, right? So I'll come on board. And then, meaning we are going to collaborate, not so. So if I fix that part, before I need to push you and say, Mr. Bright, I've pushed the code, I need to put a message based on what I did. So that when you see that message, you already know that, okay, I have
these are the changes that has been made.
exactly. Even not before looking at the changes, you could easily see the message to say, oh, he has actually fixed the bug of authentication or navigation. Then like, oh, okay, so he has fixed this. Okay, we are good, right? So that's why this message I always emphasize with whoever I'm working with to say people that put had to put add a commit message, they were not fools because they know that people don't have to beat their head for them to know what you did. They can just
Mm.
simply follow the message and say, okay, Mr. Bright worked on this. Okay, Mr. Bright did that. Okay, Mr. Mark did that. That's why you have this message. So the easiest, if you have, if you see that message part there, make sure you could uh, clearly state what you did. Me, I love like that. You say clearly what you did, so that even someone who is reviewing your code know that, okay, Mr. Bright changed the name from Bright to Mark. Okay.
Yes.
And then when you put the message there, you can write something like write something there in line with what you've changed, so that I show you also another thing there also. hmm So change Bright to Mark, yes. And then you see that message, that green button called commit. Alright? So when you click on that button, you just simply now you are staging the changes, like you are preparing them to to be pushed so that other people could see them also. Right? So when you click on commit, it simply means you have staged it. You can select OS saying, would you like to stage your? Said yes, OS. So now so that's so it has been staged, right? So when you look at the source control, the number's gone. Okay, then you have an outgoing in the branch called test24, then it's showing 1. All right, then on top, commit has changed, now it's saying sync changes 1. All right, so what does it mean? Simply means your changes are ready to be pushed, meaning to go to the remote. Okay, locally it's safe, so we need to push to the remote. So how do we push the remote? Is just by clicking on that button which says sync changes. When you click on that sync changes, yes please, then say okay, yes, all right. So you are simply now trying to push now into the remote, meaning the one which is on GitHub from the one which you have locally. So it's saying, can you now click on Yes, I like it saying git photo unable to access on or open whatever read SSL. So now can you open show command output? Yes. So it's saying git pull targets 24. So can we try to pull? So we need to open the terminal and run that command, which is git pull, then origin test hyphen 24. So let's go to our terminal there, our git bash, and type git pull origin test hyphen 24.
I type in what?
Git pull, the command you see on top line 1. You see on line 1?
Oh, yes, I see.
Yes. Except yeah, I don't think you need to put tags. Just remove tags and just add origin test 24. Yeah, you have to remove the the hyphen, those that you've added. Yes. Origin, and then the branch name. Test 24 is the branch name. Mm-hmm. 24. No, that's an underscore. So it's an hyphen, yes. Tests, there's S, please. There's on tests, there's S. Tests, then enter. All right. So now I'll explain what was happening there. Okay. So now remember how to save in Vim. So full colon WQ, full colon WQ. On your keyboard, you need to hold Shift and the full colon, then WQ, then enter. All right. Okay. So now you can push. Now click on sync changes to your top left. Sync changes, I'll explain what was happening, then click OK. I'll explain what was happening. Alright. So are you aware, do you have an idea what was happening?
I think I have an idea.
Mm-hmm. Could you share the idea what was
Like
happening?
it, it wasn't pushed.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't pushed, so it was this. It didn't go. It didn't complete the being committed. Like it didn't commit because it wasn't pushed.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
so the reason, one of the reason, yes, is you are right. It's because now one of the reason is there was conflict, right? So the same branch you're working on, right? The same branch you're working on test 24, the same branch that I also did something, right? And which you didn't have. Okay. So before you wanted to push, to check it, discover that what is there you don't have, right? And what you're pushing I also don't have. But I'm ahead, right? So remote was ahead. So before you push, you are supposed to do what? To pull the changes, okay? So that's why you see we are typing git origin pull origin test 24. So we wanted your branch to be in the same page with the one on the remote. Okay, the one on the remote, hey, I want to be on the same page with whatever Mr. Bright has in the local so that we could properly communicate. Remember, branch has to be, the work tree has to be clean, meaning what you have, that's what I need to have. Okay, so if I have something wrong, we don't have to have wrong things, right? So that's why it refused to push. You get, right? We received that OpenSL, SSL read, SSL error, core system core, whatever. And then it suggested, here's the thing. One thing you're going to love working with VScode is it will give you everything, right? So remember, we didn't know what to do, but you only said line 1 on the error, it says use git pull, because from that command there, they say learn that command because you're unable to access it. In line 2 is saying fat you're unable to access because of the conflict. All right, so that's why we have an error below, but they gave us a command on top to say you can use this command to get what we need so that we are able to push. Okay, so now that guy there, the same source control, you could do with it everything from there. For example, I'm going to push something. I'm going to do something now. I'm going to do something from my end here, and I want you to actually pull. I want you to actually pull. So I'm going to do something here. Hmm. So yes, so now push something. Now I want you to, now when now I know you, because of some things that is not there, but if you say git status in your terminal, you type git status, check if there's anything that you want you that is still unstaged.
You do what?
You type git status in your terminal. And press enter. You see that there's nothing, right? Now bottom there, right? Bottom, are you able to see the same sign as for source control in the bottom left?
Bottom left.
Yes.
Bottom left that I look for it.
Are you able to see a certain icon similar to the one from source control?
Yes.
Yes, can you click on no there, yeah, there, can you click on it? You see, again there's also another thing. So imagine if you don't like working with the terminal, you see that you could even create a branch from there. Okay, and even you could switch a branch from there. All right. So if you if the terminal kind feel like it's not something that you're so comfortable with, VS Code is very powerful. This tool that we have, VS Code, that's why every developer love using VS Code, because we avoid so much hassles. Imagine you are thinking of how do I write the command, how I need to do this. It's walk over. You just simply, if you want to make a branch, you could create a branch from there, saying create new branch or change the branch. You see? So this is how powerful VS Code is. So for example, if you want, you can go to main, select the main branch. Since you are in test 24, you can select the main branch. Yes. And now you are in the main branch. You see? So again, you didn't touch the terminal. You are still in VS Code. Source control. Bottom there, you can switch the branch or you can create the branch. So this is how VS Code powerful it is. If you are stuck, it could even, like for example, gives you an error like that command that we when we wanted to push gave us the error, plus what we need to use, right? So that's how VS Code could easily save us from sweating and wondering where to find things from. So what are other things also that VS Code has, which you developers or we developers benefit, is um, the ability to I know maybe it could be advanced. When you go to your terminal, okay, by the way, before we move forward, is there any question, right, so far?
I don't think so at the moment.
But if you do have any doubt, you could ask and I'll clarify based on what we've covered, navigating within VS Code, whatever we have done so far, you could ask so that I could clarify you so that you don't have any problem.
I think we are good.
All right.
More
So,
than I can think of.
yeah, but whenever you have, please ask. So, you when you become a black belt in VS Code, even writing something to be very easy. Yeah. So, now before we go to the terminal, because the terminal has a bunch of things there that we could look at. Now, I want you to, when you look at the VS Code, of course it has a lot of it doesn't have a bunch of things compared to maybe what I may have here. But when you see be, in the bottom left side by bottom, you have the avatar icon and the gear icon, right? Bottom left sidebar, bottom left sidebar, bottom.
Bottom left.
Yes, those two icons.
Mm.
So the first one is for accounts. So when you click on that first one, it shows how many accounts you have. If you are, sometimes you are connecting to AWS or GCP to show there, or in a cloud environment, right? It will show
Mm.
there, or any backup. For example, you have two laptops, okay, and then you're using the same account and you just want to use interchangeably. Like the way I do, I have a Mac and the Windows. So for example, if I'm on in the sitting room, I'll just turn on the backup and sync settings on, so that the settings that I hear on the Mac in the VS Code always reflect in the other laptop. All right, so that even if I'm not with my Mac, I still need to don't not to leave my VS Code settings, because I've already made how my workspace looks like in VS Code for years now. All right, so that's why you can look at. So when you go to backup and sync settings, you could say set up how you want things to change from all your cluster of your devices, because one account is connected in all the devices. Then there's another icon below that called, that is a gear. It's called the gear icon. It's a settings icon, common known as settings, but it's a gear. I think that's how we call it. It's a gear. So that's why you do all your management, right? From checking updates, from setting up profile, from changing themes, keyboard shortcuts. When you go to keyboard shortcuts, what happen? Go to keyboard shortcuts. Mm-hmm.
I click on it.
Yes, click on it.
Mm-hmm.
Manual book is here, right? All these. Now imagine how much VS Code has. It has all the shortcut keys.
Okay, don't.
Yeah, all the shortcut keys. If you want to accept inline edit, if you want to add cursor above, if you want to auto fix something, if you want to add a comment, if you want to delete, if you want to do all those, my brother, they are there. Just you pressing F7, you will access some hidden stuff.
With the screen, or I cancel the screen.
Sorry?
Come again, I didn't get what you said.
I'm saying on the command there.
Mm.
I'm saying when you're in VS Code working on your whatever you're working on, the file that you're working on, just pressing Control plus D, you can select something. Control plus D, you can select something in the file that you're working on. So all these shortcuts, you don't have to go to YouTube and someone start lying to say use this, use that. No, you have them in VS Code. Okay, you have them in VS Code. Master, use, maybe start with 5. Have you could do, you know that your Windows has a sticky note.
A sticky note.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Okay, go to that window logo and search for sticky note.
On my PC.
Yes, there's that window logo, the four icons there. I can see bottom. Yes, click on that, and then search for sticky note.
Okay, here it is.
Yes, open that one. Open. Uh-huh. So you could do, put how many commands for a start? 4 commands, right? If you want to master commands, maybe use select tab and what for start, pick 4 commands, right? And then put them in a stick note. So stick note will be reminding you, in case you've forgotten, uh,
Mm.
to be reminding you to say, hey, Mr. Bright, these are the commands that you need to use. Maybe you could bet on yourself like a week. You have, if it's 5 shortcuts command you want to master, You have them, right? And then you are always using them because shortcuts keyboard, they will help you in an instance that your laptop will not be working. Okay, all right. So that's how a stick note works. I know you could maybe get started. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. So you see, so now you could write all your notes from there, and they'll be on your desktop. So whenever you feel like you are lost from any command, any shortcut, you could easily copy because you can write on that stick note. You can write some notes there, put up something there, right? And whenever you want to look at something, you can always open and then find whatever you wrote. You could resize those size to fit your screen. Like the way they're big, you could make them smaller. Yeah, make them smaller.
I make them smaller. Which ones? The same.
Yes, yes, the same sticky note that has come on your screen. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, go to the bottom and then drag them on top.
Come
Bottom.
again. I do what?
Go to the bottom.
Mm.
Move until in the edge.
Oh, I move this.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, so you could drag and make them small as you may want,
oh.
right? That's what I was trying to say. uh And then you could put all maybe shortcuts that you want to use for start, that you want to master. Okay. So if you want to start with select or autofix, you could say maybe take a note. Then you say uh, right. You could write autofix. Then you put a shortcut. Then you can use an equal sign. Maybe what's a shortcut command for autofix? Because there's a shortcut command there on your screen. Can you just move them to the right so that you see the command? Yes. So it's shift plus alt, shift plus alt plus dot.
That's a dot.
Yes. So you say shift plus alt, which is alternative, plus dot. You need to use the bright. You can use you need to hold shift as you write dot. Yes, so that you add addition, so you know that okay, what is the applied is this and that. So even in between shift and dot, you need to put plus. Yes, use shift. Yes, like that. So whenever you want to fix something in your code base, you need that I need to use this command, my brother, really helps because they'll make you fast. They'll make you to do work faster. I know some people like, no, commands, sometimes command are good because you don't really need um to beat your head and do the old way. You could easily, if you want to fix something, just use shortcuts command on your keyboard, then to be helping you to become faster. So there are a lot of commands there on VS Code that you could. I'll just give you an example. that you could maybe pick two or three and then start using them over time. After you get used, again add more like that. Every day you're adding two, and you're mastering them, knowing how to use them, keeping them in practice. At the end of the month, you discover that all the commands that are there, you know how to use them. All right. So there are a lot.
Mm.
There are a lot there. You could read through them. You know those all those. If you want to cancel in a section, you just simply use escape. All those commands. If you want to use AI, simply say Control plus L. If you want to use AI, I've seen black box AI shortcut command, all that. So you could do much a bunch of things with those commands. Close
Mm.
window, stop reading, whatever, you have all those commands. So where did we find those shortcuts keywords? From the gear bottom left sidebar. That's where we did find the shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts. Okay, keyboard shortcuts there, and then that panel came. All right. So what is found in the settings? Because I know that's the setting. Then there's also settings there. Can we go for the setting? Yes, settings. Now here, many things. Yeah, many things you could do from this place. Many things, my brother. Okay. For example, let's look for search for terminal. Search for terminal. All right. The first part. Okay. So you see terminal there. Can you look at the features? Then you are able
Yes,
to see terminal.
yes, I'm able to see it.
Click
This
on.
one.
Click yes. Click. All right. So it's saying when opening the file from the Explorer in a terminal, determine what kind of terminal would be launched. So first part say integrated. Can you click on it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Click.
I click
Click.
again, I click
Yes. Click.
integrated.
No, no. Click back. Click back. Click back on the same. Yes. And then scroll down a bit slowly. Scroll down a bit slowly.
What
Slowly.
am I looking for in here?
You, for example, if you've added any external terminal, anything externally,
Oh,
you could find it there, and then you could set. So what we are looking for there is the setting that you want to perform when you open the terminal, right? Okay. If you do want to be confirming whenever before you close the terminal, you could change that settings to yes. If you never, meaning you can exit the terminal whenever you want to exit. All right. So what we are looking for here is simply how this part could also help you to configure VS Code as the way you want it to look like and work. All right. Because if you know how to use the tool, even work become easier, right?
yeah,
If you know how to use Amare again, even in hunting for birds becomes easier. But if you don't know how to use the
easier.
catapult, it's very hard even to kill one bird.
Yeah, yes.
So here you could configure anything as per your need. Now you're configuring as a user and also as workspace. So if you want, you're making global changes, or you just simply want to make changes in a specific workspace that you are using. All right. So whenever you want to make any changes, this is where you can do all those changes. All right. You need to go to the gear settings, gear icon there. Then you go to the settings. Then these features will come. Then you just need to search anything from on top there. What are you looking for? I'm looking for prettier. When prettier comes, then you can begin to configure the settings. All right. So that's how that gear and the settings section works. So you could make those adjustments from within there. Not someone to cheat you to say, no, you can't make these changes. This is how you need. If you hear someone saying, you can customize VS Code, this is what they mean. So you could come here, change and remove what you don't want, and don't leave what you want. All right. So far we are good. I must say, maybe. Are we good? Before we go to the terminal there below. All right. So now, okay, you could close whatever is there on top that has opened, like settings, welcome, keyboard shortcut, git, Ella, whatever. You can close them, close them, close them. I think even that worked. All right. Now let's come below your terminal. Below the terminal you have I don't know, 7 things there. You have problem, output, debug console, terminal, ports, postman console, and search error. Let's try by looking at problems. Can you remove the closing tag of body line 12? Can you remove line 12? Remove line 12.
Remove everything.
Just line 12.
Line 12.
Everything line 12, yes. Alright. Then let's go to problem. Let's go to problem. So here it's saying it only supports TypeScript, Node modules. Okay, they've not been a problem, but that's a problem. Now it's because this is HTML, but if you are using any framework, it must detect that that's a problem. Let me share my screen so that I can explain properly there a bit. Can I share my screen? You need to go to your Google Meet. Yes. And then alright, so let me just come back. Okay. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see it.
So what I mean is this. Yeah, I'm in the terminal. I have not changed anything. We're still looking at the same thing that you are still showing me there. So in the terminal, here, for example, if we right, let me wait for it to load so that it still things loading up. Okay. Alright, so if I remove this, what happens? If I remove these two closing tags, it must show an error. Yes. So you see what has happened?
I didn't remove.
Okay, you see that there are no problem in my code base, right?
Mm-hmm.
But look at when I just remove this closing tag. You see how many errors I have? Three problems.
Mm-hmm.
It will give me the file name where I have problems, the statements. JSX expression must have one parent element, one of them. Alright? So it says it expects this. Expression expected. So these are the problems that I have in my code there. If I also open another file and then do the same thing, see problems are increasing to 4. Okay? And here it has said JSX element pattern has no corresponding closing tag, which is true. It doesn't lie. It has told me where the problem is and the solution. What solution? A closing tag of what? A button. Okay. So this button doesn't have a closing tag. That's why it's saying here. Okay. So if you put a closing tag, it has gone. You see? So when you're in your terminal here, this is your game changer because you could solve any problem here. Right? So also, after you know that the expression is error, you could also come here. So okay, I left that, and then the problems are gone. So if you have those problems, you could read here and know how to solve them. You know how to solve them based on these statements which are here. You could try to understand until you come and say, ah, but maybe I didn't put a closing tag here. All right. So this is why we have this. I know some people see these as they are useless, they have no use, but this is the use of everything that we have here. So problem will give you to detect a problem. Debug console, if you have a debug console ready, you could use this and then it will tell you how you need to debug part by part, which we didn't talk about it because we do not implement any debug console here. So that's why even here I didn't talk about it, right? So, but if you've had implemented here, you could easily get there. You have a debug console, for example, you need to start your session, right? So you say learn which one. If it's not JS, if it's TypeScript, you need to configure this. Or if it has a URL, you need to put the URL. If it's localhost 3000, you could put it there. HTTP localhost 3000. Then once you connect, Press enter to confirm, and then you see the debug here, and then to be telling you if it tests this is okay, if it tests this is okay. If it gets on line 14 to say this is where the problem is, right? So you need to put um, you need to put, I don't know, sheet, okay, and then the error is gone. So this is how you can use the debug console. I'll show you when you set up the debug console one day to debug some issues that we are going to be working on. I'll show you how this and that and this work. So let's go to terminal. I think by now you must have known this place. This is, I don't even need to tell you, this place you know it. Terminal is where you need to learn the commands. Alright. So any command you write, it's here, you could need to come on. Okay. Now this part is very important. I know it may bring confusion as because it doesn't have something applied. But ports, for example, you've done the servers, right? You've set up some environment on the cloud, okay, in the cloud, and then you don't want to use maybe you don't have enough resources to buy infrastructures to run servers to test your stuff from the cloud. Do you know that your laptop is a server itself? Hello. I'm saying if you are running some services elsewhere, and then you are unable to pay each and everything that you are using, do you know that you could use your laptop?
I'm unable to do what?
For example, you are setting up some cloud storage on the platform, let's say AWS, Amazon Web Services. You are unable to, because AWS charge whatever you use, okay? So if you make a request, they're going to bill you on that request. Now I was saying, are you aware that if you don't have enough resources, you could just simply use a port number and then put here. Then instead of you making requests from AWS, you can use your laptop as your server, okay, to test anything before you go into production. So where do you configure those from? Is you come here on the ports here, okay? So you get the ports because each and every server which runs remote has ports, or which infrastructure you want to run has ports, right? So you could put the port number here, then come here on come here. Yes, if you have any forwarding ports, you could put the port number, then oops, then once you put the port number, it will load all these environments, learning process, forwarded address, and everything. You see them, we'll be monitoring them from here. So whatever you're testing, you don't have to say I need to pay Amazon. You just come here and look at them. Okay, so meaning you have VS Code and it's showing you everything, right? It's showing you everything. You have all the tools, you have everything to test, development, and deployment. Okay, so you could test before you put into production. You could test things from here so that when you push something into production, you don't make a mistake. All right, you don't make a mistake. You've already tested them in your local laptop, and you can't feel like you are ready to take them into production. Are we clear on the ports, what it is used for? And yeah, I believe these are some of the benefits. You may not use it, but in case you find yourself in a situation where you need to use a port because you can't pay for other resources externally, this is where you need to configure. You need to have the port number, and then once you put, it will show, it will start learning here.
Okay. It's understood as well.
We'll try to find something so that you see it more practical on why it's so beneficial. Now, I have this because I installed Git lens, right?
You know what?
I have this option here
Oh,
because I installed the Git lens. I have it that because I installed this because I have this Git lens. I have this guy here, right? I have Git lens. This is the extension. That's why I'm able to see this stuff here, right? I'm able to see this because of this extension. So here, this is also preference because this is what I chose to use. But nevertheless, Postman. When you're testing something, you could see all the requests from here. Postman is used to test API. So the time we'll be doing the backend, you see all the requests that we'll be doing in the console here, right? So if the request has gone through, you see it from the console here. If it has failed, you see it from the console here. So all these features that are here, they will, they will be more useful when we start implementing the actual stuff. Because when you are doing the actual stuff, you'll be seeing what will be happening, and that way you get familiar. Same thing with comments. If there's any comments, you'll be able to see them, right? Now, it is a lot of walkthrough about VS Code. Now, for you to communicate with GitHub, because now you know how to navigate in VS Code, you know what how to use shortcuts, you know where shortcuts are found. Now, for you to communicate with GitHub, you need Git, right? You need Git. So when you installed Git, it is just something that gave you the opportunity to have this. Right? So after you installed Git, it gave you opportunity to have what? To have a Git bash.
yeah.
Okay. So Git bash work because you installed Git. So meaning you could now work from your laptop to your GitHub, all right? So after you've installed your tools and you've known how to navigate in VS Code, you know how to use Explorer to look at your files, you know how to use this to search for something and replace, you know how to install extensions here now, and you know how to do any customization. Maybe coming here, looking at checking for shortcuts, then this guy here, the terminal, because even configuring Git you need to know how to use the terminal, because but putting the commands git global config, user.email, and you put your email address, user.name, you put your name, should be done from this terminal. Okay, so if you're pushing for anything to remote, meaning online, from a local laptop, you need to use git. So git create a channel for you to communicate with GitHub.
On terminal.
Yes. So git create a channel for you to communicate with the GitHub. Alright. So what am I trying to say here is that when you install git bash, it will give you the opportunity now to be able to clone the repo online, to say git pull, git push, and even also this source control to be tracked, because you have git installed in your laptop. Alright, so when you do everything here, your tools is perfect like this, you are happy, your tools is done like it is expected, then you just need to go to the internet. It's free, it's open source, you don't have to pay for anything. Go to the internet, search for git, right? Git bash, click there, and then when you come here, you could choose if you're using Mac, you're using Windows, or you're using Linux. So if I'm using Windows, I need just to come here for Windows and then download. If I'm using Mac, just need to come here and download. Once I download, I can easily install it by clicking next, 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 next until it is installed. Right? So this tool is used for source control. Alright? It is used for source control. What do I mean by saying source control? It's something that could help you to work with other team, right? If you don't have this tool, how can you collaborate with me? You can't. Alright? You can't. You and me can only now share ideas on the same project because of this guy. Alright? Because of this guy. If not of this guy, we can't collaborate. Okay? So collaboration will be made with this guy here called git bash. So if you have a git bash, then you could collaborate with any developer. If you don't have, then there's a challenge, because how are you going to collaborate, right? So we could only collaborate together if we have git bash installed. Do we have any question, Mr. Bright?